Welcome to Moberly Middle School, new Spartans. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer. Look, if you are stepping into the halls of MMS for the very first time, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're walking through your ultimate Spartan survival guide, straight from our staff handbook. And hey, everything we cover today, it all anchors back to one single unified mission, to challenge and empower problem-solving leaders. So let's get you all set up for an incredible school year.
Okay, here is our quick roadmap for our time together today. We've got 5 main areas to hit. First, routines and professional conduct. Second, instruction and assessment. Third, student support and discipline. Fourth, communication and safety. And finally, number 5, leave, substitutes, and PTO. By the time we wrap up this explainer, you're going to feel totally confident, fully supported, and 100% ready to take on the year.
So, let's kick things off with Section 1, routines and professional conduct, or as we like to call it, establishing the Spartan standard. Having really clear routines sets the stage for, well, absolutely everything else we do here.
Okay, let's dive right into this. You know, when you're the new person, literally one of the most stressful things is just figuring out who handles what. We've got these awesome visual cheat sheets that lay out a clear chain of command. They show you exactly who to contact first for, well, anything, from an academic concern to a building safety issue. Remember, at MMS, we are better together. So if you're ever in doubt, just start with the first person listed for your specific issue, and you can always escalate if you still need some backup.
Now, what's really interesting here is how simple these professional expectations actually are, but man, they powerfully shape our whole school culture. We really want to model the exact behavior we expect from our kids. So what does that look like? It means dressing professionally to actually exceed the student dress code. It means keeping our personal cell phones tucked away, limit those strictly to planned times or lunches. We also need you to be highly visible. You're going to be out doing hallway sweeps during team times and passing periods, keeping that traffic flowing and keeping kids safe. Oh, and lastly, just treat the building with respect. If you use a workroom, tidy it up. Modeling this kind of stuff really protects our instructional time.
All right, let's look at how all this builds the actual structure of your day. Your daily bell schedule is something you'll absolutely want to keep handy, maybe even print it out, especially for navigating those tricky 2-hour late starts or early release days. Getting a feel for the rhythm of these transitions is going to make your classroom run so smoothly right from that very first bell.
Moving right along, let's hit Section 2, Instruction and Assessment. This right here is our core work. We literally have to maximize our instructional time if we want to guarantee students' success.
So this year, a huge instructional focus across the entire building is the full-on implementation of learning intentions and success criteria. Honestly, it's all about complete clarity. Intentions tell your students exactly what they're learning that day, and the success criteria, that gives them the roadmap for what successful learning actually looks like. Using really simple, student-friendly language here gives the kids total ownership of their own progress. It's a total game changer. Another massive piece of our instructional day is RTI, or Response to Intervention. Now let's be super clear on what this actually is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't. Effective RTI is highly targeted, data-driven academic support. You're reteaching a specific skill with guided practice, okay? It is not free time. It's not a silent study hall where everyone just sits and reads, and it's definitely not a time for students to just randomly catch up on missing work. Purposeful RTI is exactly how we keep our kids from falling behind.
All right, let's shift gears into Section 3, Student Support and Discipline. I like to think of this as the heart of the classroom. Because let's face it, handling behavior effectively is how we keep our relationships intact and keep our classrooms safe.
Our student support flowchart brilliantly illustrates how we handle things when a concern comes up. We rely on a total team-based approach to support our kids. Depending on what a student is struggling with, whether they've got a sudden drop in their grades, a new behavioral pattern, or maybe a mental health concern, this routes you to the exact right resource. That might be the care team, our amazing counselors, or administration. The big takeaway here? You don't have to carry it all on your own shoulders. You just need to know how to connect that student to the right safety net.
Now, when behavior issues do inevitably pop up in your classroom, this is the very first question you have to ask yourself. Is this minor or is it major? Seriously, knowing the answer to that one question dictates your entire response.
So here is exactly where we draw that boundary. Minor behaviors, those are classroom managed. We're talking about your general disruptions, a kid being off task or showing up unprepared. You handle those. Major behaviors, on the other hand, are office managed. These are the serious ones: fighting, threats, weapons, or those chronic infractions that just will not stop no matter how many interventions you try. Major behaviors go straight to administration, no questions asked.
Our behavior guide really reinforces that contrast. Minor behaviors always start with you. Teacher redirection, reteaching the expectation, and giving the parents a call, that makes you the first line of defense. Office-managed behaviors, though, those require administrative support immediately, because the safety of everyone in the building has to come first.
Okay, so how do we actually handle those minor behaviors in the classroom? We use a super clear 5-step minor behavior process. Step 1 is just your initial classroom response, maybe a little physical proximity or a quick quiet conference with a student. Step 2, that's a first removal to the alternative classroom, or AC, plus you've got to make parent contact. Step 3 escalates to a second removal and a lunch detention. Step 4 is a third removal plus a teacher detention. Now, if a student hits Step 5 in a single week, boom, that becomes a major referral. Oh, and the best part? This whole staircase resets every single week, which gives our students a fresh start every Monday.
Now, within the support process, there's one absolutely vital rule to remember. You must contact the focus facilitator before you send a student down to the alternative classroom. Please, never just send a wave of kids down the hall unannounced. Communicate first, make sure you log the behavior, and ensure that parent contact actually happens.
Eventually, you might need to escalate something to a major referral in Infinite Campus. When you do, precision really matters here. You've got to include your name, the hour, and the course. Follow that up with the student's name and then write an entirely objective, facts-only description of exactly what happened. Here's a pro tip. Do not include other students' names in the write-up. And if a kid used profanity, quote it directly using quotation marks. Don't paraphrase, just keep it factual and crystal clear.
All right, moving right along into Section 4, Communication and Safety. Think of this as the operational scaffolding that really forms the backbone of Mobberley Middle School.
Partnering with parents is absolutely huge for us. We really expect you to contact home early if a student's grade drops to a D or an F, or if you see new negative behavior patterns popping up. Always try your best to respond to parent messages within 24 school hours. And this is critical, log every single contact in Infinite Campus. But hey, listen to this part. While we definitely want strong partnerships, if a conversation with a parent ever turns verbally abusive or hostile, you have administration's full backing to calmly set a boundary, end the conversation right then and there, and bring an admin in to help you handle it. You are supported.
When it comes to safety, there are just some absolute non-negotiables. We strictly follow the standard response protocol for all emergencies. You have to ensure exterior doors remain locked at all times. Literally, never, ever prop a door open just because it's convenient for a minute. And make sure your classroom crisis bags have fully updated rosters every mid-quarter. We take our safety drills incredibly seriously here. Because look, how we practice is exactly how we protect.
And finally, we've made it to Section 5, Leave, Substitutes, and PTO, our administrative duties. Let's quickly cover the practical side of managing your time and your absences.
We all know paid time off is a fantastic benefit, but we do have some strict PTO blackout dates. This is just to ensure we have enough student supervision during our most critical times of the year. So PTO will not be approved during the first 10 or the last 10 student days of the year. You also can't use it the day immediately before or after a school break or on professional development days, unless you somehow get explicit written permission directly from the superintendent.
So the crucial point here is just knowing which system to use when you're going to be out. If you need a substitute because you're sick or taking personal leave, you're going to pop that right into Red Rover as early as you possibly can. But if you're requesting professional development leave, that's a different system. You'll submit that request through SUI to get it approved.
Look, life happens, right? Sometimes you're going to have a totally unexpected absence. That is exactly why every single teacher must maintain an emergency substitute folder. It's got to have your updated rosters, your seating charts, and your daily emergency procedures. But most importantly, you need to have 5 emergency lesson plans ready to go at a moment's notice. And here's the catch. These must be low-tech. Do not leave lessons that require a sub to figure out specialized software or do some crazy extensive tech setup. Just keep it simple, straightforward, and effective.
Wow, okay, we have covered a massive amount of ground today. Everything from the bell schedule to behavior flowcharts. But remember, all these rules, routines, and protocols, they exist for one main reason: to protect our instructional time so we can fully support our students. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. As a brand new Spartan, how will you use these systems, not just as a bunch of rules to check off, but as actual tools to challenge and empower the next generation of problem-solving leaders? Have an absolutely amazing school year, and thank you so much for joining me in this explainer.